Dante Cicchini. I'm a powder processing technician, so we make metal powder to go into molds. I work in a steel mill, and that's about it, right?
Of the weather from Mr. Roker. Al, it is such a pretty morning, isn't it?
Perfect fall morning here, although it's not fall yet, so it's still a perfect summer morning. And good advice, hug a nurse today. Where are you from?
Youngstown, Ohio.
Youngstown. What are you doing here?
Elizabeth.
Just hanging out?
Just on vacation.
Who are you here with?
My son and my husband.
All right. Well, you're sandwiched. It's a mom-nurse sandwich. We like that.
As Matt just mentioned, we have a breaking news story to tell you about. Apparently, a plane has just crashed into the World Trade Center here in New York City. It happened just a few moments ago, apparently. We have very little information available at this point in time.
We woke up like every other morning. There was nothing different. There was no bells, no whistles, no maybe something seemed funny that day. No, totally normal. Yeah, I was a teenager, so I was just waking up. Somebody shook me to tell me what was going on. We were in my living room with my mother and father watching it.
Right now we're getting information, Al, that it was a small commuter plane, and of course we'll let people know as soon as we have more information as to what actually caused this, and of course on everybody's mind who might have been hurt as a result of this terrible, terrible incident.
The air is filled with hundreds of thousands of pieces of paper that are just sort of floating like confetti. The area is swarmed with emergency vehicles and sirens. And obviously, we're very sensitive to this kind of thing in this neighborhood.
Elliot, have you, of course, because of the incident that occurred in the early 1990s, have you seen any evidence, Elliot, of people being taken out of the building? You say that emergency vehicles are there, understandably so, but of course the major concern is human loss. I mean, do you know if there were many people in the building?
Another one just hit. Something else just hit. A very large plane just flew directly over my building, and there's been another collision. Can you see it? I can see it on the shot.
Oh, my.
Something else has
You know what?
and
We
that
just saw
like
a plane circling the building.
It is in the other building.
We just saw a plane circling the building a second ago on the shot right before that.
I think there may have been another impact. Can you tell? I just heard another very loud bang, and a very large plane that might have been a DC-9 or a 747 just flew past my window, and
I've never seen anything like it. It literally flew itself into World Trade Center.
Obviously now we move from what appears to have, there it is right there.
Again, I'm looking from south to north, and it went into the one on the right.
That appeared to be at least a 727. We saw it a second ago. Here comes the videotape that we just showed you. You will see what appears to be a large plane. It could be a 727 right there, maybe even bigger, flying right into the side of the World Trade Center.
It was at least a 727. It was a jet. I couldn't believe my eyes watching it right above me.
And now you have to move from talk about a possible accident to talk about something deliberate that has happened here. We're going to immediately check with air traffic control in the area to find out if they had contact with either of these planes before the accident. But what we've just seen is about the most shocking videotape I've ever seen.
It was a joke. I thought it was doing some serious computer animation type stuff, fancy stuff. We were waiting for the punchline. You know, we were all just sitting around in disbelief, like no way this could actually happen. You know, you just kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and never got the punchline, never got the April Fools or the, you know, like, okay guys, we got you. It wasn't long after, you know, it wasn't a joke.
I just want to say something. We're looking at a picture here where it appears, because of the angle, I think, that the towers are leaning, and I don't think that is actually the case, because after the first impact, it looked as if it was the right-hand tower was leaning. And now somebody is saying, we're getting a witness saying they are leaning actually right now, which will give you an idea of the type of impact we're talking about.
Explosion of some kind here at the Pentagon. We're on the E-ring of the Pentagon. We have a window that faces out toward the Potomac, toward the Kennedy Center. We haven't been able to see or hear anything after the initial blast. I just stepped out in the hallway. Security guards were herding people out of the building, and I saw just a moment ago as I looked outside, a number of construction workers who have been working here have taken flight. They're running as far away from the building as they can right now.
Taken next.
David, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we're looking at live pictures of the Pentagon where there is billowing smoke. Jim Miklashevsky just reported that he heard an explosion, and right now we're looking at an aerial view of the Pentagon. Mick, can you talk to us?
Officially, nobody knows exactly what happened. I think the picture is pretty clear. According to one U.S. Army officer who went running past me at a full trot, he said that it appears that a bomb was detonated at the heliport. The heliport is a helicopter landing area right next to the Pentagon, just adjacent to the E-ring. The offices nearest the heliport area are U.S. Army, Reserve officers, and the Army Reserve offices are located there. But as you can see, it appears to be a pretty significant blast. To give you some perspective, we are almost on the opposite side of the building, the world's largest office building. And as I reported to you, we could feel the building shake and the windows rattle.
Aircraft near the White House, and one can only wonder if that was something that ultimately ended up in the Pentagon.
We just saw a live picture of what seemed to be a portion of the building falling away from the World Trade Center. If we can re-rack that to about 20 seconds ago, you'll see something dramatic happening, and I don't know whether it's another explosion or a portion of the building falling away, but something major just happened at that building. Here we go to the tape.
We have the tape.
And watch what happens in the left-hand tower. I don't know if this is the correct tape. There, something there is about to happen, falling away right there.
Yeah, it looks like a big chunk of it has just peeled away.
One can only hope that the area has been evacuated, but of course you wonder about all the emergency vehicles and the people who might have been injured early in the morning.
That's the office we're at. There's three of us in here. O-S-T-A-R-U. Hello? Hello? We're looking at Financial Center. Three of us, two broken windows. Oh, God!
Now looking at video, we're going to rejoin NBC coverage now. You can see it start to collapse.
That's a videotape replay.
We are back at 10:30 Eastern Time on this Tuesday morning, this horrific, incredible, not to be believed Tuesday morning. You are looking at live pictures of the World Trade Center where just a few minutes ago, within the last minute actually, the second Twin Tower collapsed.
Other than the Statue of Liberty, when you look at New York, you see the Twin Towers. They weren't there. Where we were standing, we should have been able to see them, but of course, we're looking down this city street to pretty good pile of smoke where the tower should have been. And it was, like I said, it was snowing. It was still snowing, dust and asbestos. started to really see that it was going to get ugly. Everything wasn't held just at ground zero. It was for a whole mile, busted windows and cars and smashed and dust and debris and stuff on fire. And we did this long walk of just abandoned disaster for an hour. Just walking and walking and walking. And it was quiet, like I said, it was a quiet walk. It was most worried about what we were going to see when we got there. You know, we all had some anxiety, and it wasn't a pretty thing. We knew what was going on. We were just trying to keep it from getting clogged up in our minds because we had a job to do. And search and recover. They did all they can get, whether it be a shovel or a pick or something, and we were just moving debris. And I don't want to get too graphic, but you look for a sock or an article of clothing, a shirt, or a piece of fabric, something that could be connected or close to somebody. I remember what they thought was a shoe. They turned some stuff over, and as a matter of fact, I helped them move some debris from it. And the shoe still had a leg attached to it. I remember washing and loading parts of bodies into body bags. Me and the guys that I was with personally found a torso of looked like an older woman, with of course no limbs at all. I'd say the hardest one was and I still dream. That was a long time ago, and I still dream directly about that moment when there was the crew, the canine crew. They were 10 feet from us and pulled a child that was probably, 2 or 3 years old from the pile of rubble. And it was, totally intact. Not a spot of blood on it. Dusty, obviously, but deceased. But it was probably the hardest thing I seen when I was there. I was a Second Amendment guy before that. No, I always had one on me. I swore that I wouldn't let it change my life because that's what they want. That's what them freakos want. If they can change the way we live our lives, then they're winning. But you can't let your pride get in the way and then put your family at risk. Once that happened, that opened their eyes a little more. And it shows because even everybody else is like, oh, you can't trust anybody anymore, you don't know this, you don't know that. I will shoot one. I don't care. It's not going to be me. It's not going to be me. It's not going to be my family on the news. I'm not going to turn into a statistic. But I'm also not going to rearrange my life because of that. People are locking doors. Security everywhere went up. I'd say for the couple years past 9/11. Yeah, I would say it was rough for the next couple of years. Do I feel that now? No. We rebounded from it.